There are 9 Sorcerer's Chosens within the game that will dictate either your success or failure within DSA's hardest content, the Siege on Olympus raid. From characters with massive debuffs or game-saving abilities, or the perfect partner that just sets up the perfect hit of millions of damage, today we're going to be ranking the Sorcerer's Chosens that you want to gear up within 2022. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Cozy Club. My name is Cozy Gamer, and today we're going to be ranking those SCs. It's hard to believe that this Siege on Olympus raid has almost been out, coming on 6 months, and a whole lot has changed since the first week release video that we did on the SCs. We've had some tier lists, but today we're going to be focusing on the Sorcerer's Chosens, what abilities work best, what are more free-to-play friendly options, and simply who are the best and the greatest to gear up and use those resources on. So let's go ahead, jump right into the game, dive into the rankings. Let's begin. See, I don't know if this is you, but you might have that great roster. You got a lot of legendaries unlocked, and you got a pretty good overall roster. But then you scroll on down to the Sorcerer's Chosens tab, and well, you're looking at a bunch of decisions and a bunch of choices. And you would take them all up to Gear 8 because why not? You want to help out your club and jump right into the hardest and the most rewarding content that the game has to offer. But of course, guys, Gear 8 takes a lot of resources, and a lot of these Sorcerer's Chosens come from the same faction. Now, in their own respective rights, all of the SCs are pretty dang good, and the developers did a good job making most of them worth taking up that are going to drastically help your chances of increasing the damage within the raid. But of course, some are better than others, and some just bring their own unique aspects. So some of these lines are going to be paper-thin margins, but let's go ahead, jump right into the rankings, starting off with the Horned King. Now, look, guys, the Horned King is actually a pretty good character within the Siege on Olympus. However, he's going to be coming at our lowest ranking mainly because you've got to go all in. You can get some good runs with this guy, but he's a very selfish character, and unless you invest everything into him, which being a mythical, you want to use that gear in other places, that is what's going to keep him from going at the top. The Horned King really specializes in making himself a one-man show, and he's a fun project once you've got some of the other ones on this list. At number 8, we have the Queen of Hearts. Again, paper-thin margins, guys, but the Queen of Hearts, she does a lot, but at the same time, she does very little when looking at the other choices. Now, I do like the Queen for a couple of runs and a couple of teams. My favorite thing is with her cards, when they die, really charges up your spells pretty fast. So if you don't find yourself getting spells as fast as you can, those cards are going to help out, and she does a respectable amount of damage. But for the majority of you guys, you're going to use her AoE silence to kill twisters and ice spikes, and then she kind of feels like she's done. If you're just a big Alice in Wonderland fan and you like the Queen of Hearts, you can definitely use her on a bunch of different teams, obviously preferring her on more of the summonable unit teams like the Tornado or the Ice Titan. If you're going to focus on an ability, her basic does some decent damage, but of course you want to go ahead and try to get this silence up. You don't really need to level up much of what she has to offer, which could be a great reason to get her up. She doesn't take a lot of ability mats, but if you're investing the gear, then you want to be all in on a character. Now, this is where the SCs start to get really good. Everyone above here offers something unique and can really supercharge or amp up any team. Ranking in at number 7, we've got the Magical Snowman, Olaf. Man, Olaf was a tough one to rank. You see, he does a lot well, and for free-to-play players, he's one of my favorite options because, again, you don't have to rank up really any of his abilities, and he can supercharge the early Frozen team. He has a little bit of use outside of Frozen by giving other people tactics like Woody and giving everybody crit power up. But Olaf's main synergy is getting the most damage out of that legendary team that most of you guys have farmed. Now, the other things that Olaf can do is he can take a lot of hits by tanking Titan's hits by just reviving over and over. He can never die unless he's one-shotted, which is a great little hidden aspect. Some RNG there, but if the Titan goes after Olaf, you're looking pretty good. Now, you're not going to be using the basic too much. Living the Dream and Warm Hugs are the two abilities that you're going to alternate with Olaf. If you're looking at abilities, I would go with Living the Dream at least to level 2. And then if you go with Warm Hugs, maybe go with the extra evasion chance. But to put it simply, the best part about Olaf, living the dream, you grab the leaf and you extend the buffs on whoever you give it to. Number 6, we've got the magical, the mystical Merlin, guys. The catch-all SC that can do a little bit of everything. I know a lot of people like Merlin, and a lot of you guys have him up. Now, if you don't have Merlin up and you're looking at him, kind of tempted to take him up, let me kind of tell you what he can do. Now, he's ranking in the kind of the middle of the pack here, and he does a lot well. He just doesn't supercharge a team, if I can say that. So the things that he does great, his basic here is awesome for the raid. He can easily just take down things in one shot, like the Twister and with the Ice Spike. So you'll be using that basic every now and then. No need to really upgrade it all too much. When you look at Use Your Head, this is always a great ability. You want to take this bad boy up to level 4 because of the amount of cleansing. You see, the raid has loads of harmful effects, especially on the Lava Eye. Really, all the Titans outside of the Tornado Titan, you're just covered with harmful effects, and your team's gonna die fast. So Merlin kind of takes care of that. I do like him for using Use Your Head on a big offense dealer to maybe get a couple show yourselves or the column throw with Hercules. So great ability there. Ready or not. Now, if we're talking about a gear 9 Merlin, which I'm trying to more consider tier 8 in this listing than tier 9, although, you know, we'll consider both, but the majority, we're looking at tier 8 here. Merlin at gear 9, though, can get reduced targets magic if they are a raid boss. Really clutch ability there. That's going to help out get the turn meter down, and it's going to reduce the magic. Something in common with our number 1 choice as well. So overall, I like Merlin. You can't really go wrong. If you have a roster with a big variety of different characters, then Merlin, he might be a good answer. You can plug him in with a bunch of different team setups, and it does really well. Number 5, we've got the big green tank in Oogie Boogie, guys. Oogie Boogie is probably one of the more sleepers on this list. Oogie does a lot without him being extra flashy, right? Like, he's going to be doing a lot more than the ones below him, and that comes down to a couple of his skills. Now, first of all, focusing on abilities, Time to Play and Frightful Shadow both offer a lot depending on the Titan. Now, a lot of people use Oogie mainly on the Twisters and on the Ice Spikes because he's got the silence, but I love that Oogie does one thing, and he's one of the only characters that can offer 2 different debuffs. He puts out slow, and he can also put out fear within the raids. Putting fear and slow on a Titan is massive to stack up and increase your overall damage. Slow on a Titan, you guys don't want to undermine how much extra help that gives your team and how many more character turns you're going to get. So Oogie putting slow and fear, as you guys know, if there's harmful effects, you get bonus damage. The other thing is he's going to be a tank. He's going to take a lot of hits, and his passive is going to help him with that. As he gets hit, he's going to heal up, and so giving you a lot of survivability for that SC slot, and the tanks playing such a big role is awesome for Oogie Boogie. And then, of course, having the AoE silence is such a massive upgrade. Taking Frightful Shadow to level 4 is really the only essential thing you need to do, and he can help out with a lot of teams. I'm going to show you him with a team this week that is improved and is really getting up to some insane damage numbers. At number 4, we've got Sally. Now, Sally is so fun. Sally is such an interesting character. Sally is a great, phenomenal choice for taking up to tier 8, and she does so much for the team and with not a lot of investment. So Sally is what we refer to in the intro as that character that's going to set up someone on your roster with a big giant hit, right? It's the quarterback throwing the Hail Mary so that the wide receiver can get all of the fame. That's what Sally is all about. Now, if you have Ian and you're focused on the Ian teams, if you're not, we're going to make another video talking about that. But if you have Ian and you're working on the big giant, Ian is a god setup, which you can find up above, you have to get Sally. It's a non-negotiable, especially for free to play. Now, what does Sally do well? Now, with her basic, this is the most important ability that she has. The biggest thing with her basic, you want to bring it up for that extra attack. Laying on the continuous damage with Sally and stacking the debuffs is the number 1 reason you want to take her up. Now, she has good survivability by getting undefeatables, which is great as well. And then if you have like a Twister, or if you got to throw out a good debuff on the field to get rid of one of those big things like the Ice Spike Titan about to do the huge hit, you do have Deadly Nightshade, or in a super panic situation, Fog Juice to go ahead and get the blinds out on the field and reduce the chance of the Titan just wiping your team out, especially if you're not in like heroic, right, where you only have one shot. But her basic is the name of the game. And Sally, if you're looking for one huge impact team, you got to go Ian, you got to go Sally. We'll talk more on it this week, but she's going to come in at number 4. Now we're moving into the top 3, guys. All of these are arguably the best. They all do something unique and different, but we're going to be ranking them in order. All 3 great decisions overall. And guys, before we get to the top 3, if you haven't already, in fact, come here real quick. Guys, did you know over 60% of the people watching this video has not taken a second to go ahead, click the red beautiful subscribe button down below. Guys, it helps out massively and it helps me make daily and consistent weekly content for Disney Sorcerer's Arena. So if you haven't already, join the Cozy Club. It is absolutely free. And if you want to go the extra mile, hit the bell. Let's go ahead and move to the top 3. Coming in at your 3rd best Sorcerers chosen within the game, it is Jack Skellington, guys. Jack Skellington. Where Cozy was right and where Cozy was wrong. When the raids first came out, we had no idea how important harmful effects were going to be within the raid. And on that first week, we ranked him pretty low. However, obviously, over the course of 6 months, we have seen the viability skyrocket with Jack Skellington. And that is all because of the Rock Titan. His tenacity, or other words known as his ability to resist harmful effects, those Titans are very sticky to land the harmful effects on them. However, Jack makes easy business with this with Scary Face. And if you don't know it, you have harmful effect, you're getting guaranteed critical hits, and you're getting huge, consistent damage. It's also going to allow you to alternate the rock hits and take out one of the biggest hurdles in the raid altogether, being the Rock Titan. So Jack is on this list because of how well he does the harmful effects. This is why he's ranked so high. Scary Face is the name of the game. His basic extends. And then the taunt can't be undermined either. Throwing this taunt on one of your tanks, giving a little bit of an extra shield, and that overall just increasing your run helps out a ton. I love Jack Skellington, and if your main hurdle is the Rock Titan, like you guys are making great progress, but you haven't really nailed the Rock Titan yet, take up Jack Skellington, get a few people going on that within your club, and you're good to go. Now, between number 2 and number 1, it is paper thin margins. Let's talk Frozone coming in at number 2, guys. Frozone could easily be the number 1 choice to take up, and in fact, if you're free to play, he probably should be your number 1 choice. He does everything that we've listed from the other ones below and so much more. Now, the only con to Frozone are a couple of things. Number 1, once the Titan's empowered, he's not going to do all that much other than buffing up if he does have Ice Block available. But number 2 is all of these abilities, at least the top 3, need to be taken up to level 4. Bonus damage for these 2 for level 4. You can inflict powerful, harmful effects like we've just talked about with Jack, but you can do it on multiple Titans like double head Titans while putting slow on them, setting up other characters and other teams for massive success. And then, of course, you have Ice Block. And then Ice Block, it has only a few characters have crit damage up. Literally only like 4. And so the ability to have him give a character crit chance and crit power up on top of undefeatables, allowing them to last so much longer, is where he's going to shine. He's one of the best outside of the raids, and within the raids, he's definitely there as well. This is where you should start the foundation in the building block for the Sorcerer's Chosens on your team. Which takes us to the number 1 option in the game. And of course, he's going to be the only one that's not available to farm. He's a bit more of a whale character or a more patience to unlock character, but you will be rewarded with a sweet number 1 in the best Sorcerers Chosen within the game for a multitude of reasons. Mike Wazowski is a phenomenal character across the board, outside of it and within it. Now, why is he so good? Now, first of all, Scare Tactics. Awesome ability. It sets up and helps support so many other characters, even past empowerment, but during the fight. You can give supports like Tiana, Anna, some of your best characters extra evades to, survive those hits. It can give protects to your tank. It can give guaranteed crits if you need them and you don't have harmful effects for giant damage. But Don't Let the Kid Touch You is going to be another phenomenal, amazing ability right out the gate. You're going to be able to put fear at a very increased chance. That's going to help you land big damage on the bosses. You're going to be reducing the turn meter, so it reduces the amount of turns you're going to get the Titan to take. And then on top of all of that, if they have fear, which they will with Mike Wazowski, you're taking magic away. So they're not going to get that one-shot ability right away. Guys, this is such a good and massive advantage to bring to your team. And obviously, you think Soli. And if you don't have Soli, you can't go Mike. Guys, Mike works with a plethora of teams, even if you don't have Soli. And altogether, offers a ton of viability. And just overall, Mike just does a whole lot for your team. And it's right up there with Frozone. I gave him the edge for giving the fear and the magic reduction, because again, the more you can slow down the Titan's huge abilities like the rock smash or the insta kills, the longer and the more damage you're going to inflict. So Mike coming in at number 1, Frozone number 2, and you guys see the rest of the list right here. This is going to be the best in the ranking of the Sorcerer's Chosens within 2022 and what abilities you should be taking up. Guys, hopefully this guide helped you get right to the point and increase your farming schedule and who you should be going after. Again, they all offer something a little bit different, and it depends on your roster. If you got Elsa, go for Olaf, and if you need more of a plug and play, there's other options for that as well. We're gonna get more raid content. I want you guys to comment down below if you guys are looking for something in particular that you want more information or breakdown on within the Siege on Olympus. You guys have a beautiful rest of your day, and of course, until next time, stay cozy, my friends.